All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into the career of Amir Khan.
Ooh, a good one.
Yeah, lots of you requested this one. We're mostly going to be using his Wikipedia article as our source, and we're going to go beyond just like the highlights, the big fights. We want to find out what made this guy tick, you know?
Yeah.
What was he doing in the ring? What was he doing out of the ring? We'll look at some of those training changes he made, some of his business ventures, even his forays into reality TV. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I think what's interesting here is how Khan's career kind of intertwines with like a resurgence in British boxing. And it was a time when the sport was, really capturing the public's imagination again. And Khan became like this focal point, right? This focal point for that excitement.
Yeah, and you go all the way back to the beginning of his amateur career. And it's pretty amazing. Youngest British Olympic boxing medalist at just 17 years old.
That's crazy.
It's unheard of.
Yeah.
And 8 million viewers tuned in to watch his Olympic final. I mean, can you imagine the pressure on an athlete that young?
It's almost hard to fathom.
Yeah.
Right. And it was 2004. So this is a time when British boxing, as we said, was really gaining momentum on the world stage. And Khan, with his, his speed and his aggressive style, and let's not forget his charisma, he quickly became a fan favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people saw him as like the future of the sport,
Mm-hmm.
Even early on against, big names like Victor Ortiz, who he defeated in the Olympic qualifiers. You could just tell he had that X factor.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
totally.
That certain something.
And then he explodes onto the professional scene in 2005. His debut actually drew over 4 million viewers, which is unheard of at the time.
Wow.
And, that's a testament to the hype surrounding this young fighter. Did it live up to the hype, would you say?
Well, I mean, he started strong. Right?
Yeah.
He's racking up wins. He eventually secures the Commonwealth lightweight title in 2007. And even back then, you could see, these little glimpses of what would become a bit of a recurring theme in his career. Those defensive vulnerabilities.
You're talking about that tendency to get caught with a big shot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he had all this speed, all this power. But, take the Willie Lemon fight, for example, that same year.
Yeah.
Khan gets knocked down in the 6th round.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was a reminder that, for all his talent, for all his offensive firepower,
Right.
he could be susceptible to, a well-timed counter.
Right.
And I think this is crucial. He also showed real heart in that fight. He battled back and he won. And it's this mix of talent, and vulnerability. It's what made him so exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Because you never knew what you were going to get.
Right.
Is he going to, blow his opponent away? Or is he going to, get caught himself?
Yeah.
It was nail-biting stuff.
And then comes 2008. And that fight against Breedis Prescott, which nobody saw coming.
54 seconds.
Yeah.
That's all it took. A devastating knockout that sent shockwaves through the boxing world. I remember watching it live thinking, this changes everything.
Wow, it must have been a crushing defeat, for someone so young, with so much expectation on his shoulders.
It was a brutal wake-up call.
Mm-hmm.
But I think sometimes you need those moments, right? You need those moments to really push you to that next level.
Yeah.
And Khan could have folded, after a loss like that.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He used it as a catalyst for change.
And that's where the legendary Freddie Roach enters the picture, right?
Exactly. Khan heads over to the wildcard gym, starts training alongside Manny Pacquiao.
Wow.
I mean, talk about a masterclass in boxing.
Yeah.
Imagine the intensity, the work ethic in that gym, two future Hall of Famers pushing each other day in and day out.
It's incredible. It sounds like the perfect environment for Khan to rebuild and refine his style.
Absolutely. And he needed it because, after that loss, the doubts started to creep in,
Yeah.
Could Khan really make the adjustments?
Right.
Could he really reach his full potential?
So we've got Khan training with Roach, learning from, arguably the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world at the time. What's the next move for him? Does he take it slow, try to rebuild his confidence?
Not a chance. He jumps right back in,
Yeah.
And not only that, he moves up a weight class.
Really?
Yeah, to light welterweight.
Oh.
It was a bold decision. But, it was a statement, right? It was a statement that, he was here to stay.
Yeah.
And he was coming for a world title.
And he does. He faces off against Andreas Kotelnik, the WBA champion.
Yeah, and in this fight, I think it perfectly illustrates Khan's evolution as a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
He was still the same explosive, fast-handed boxer. But, there was this new level of composure, like a tactical awareness that, maybe we hadn't quite seen before.
Right.
He outclassed Kotelnik, earned a unanimous decision
Oh.
and became, one of Britain's youngest ever world champions.
That's just 22 years old.
22 years old. I mean, that's
After that loss to Prescott, that's
unbelievable.
got to do wonders for your confidence, I would think.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
talk about a testament to his resilience.
Yeah.
The work he put in with Roach. I mean, they really clicked.
So he wins the title. Does he manage to hold on to it?
Oh, he goes on a tear.
Yeah.
He defends the title against Dmitry Salita, Paulie Malignaggi.
Yeah.
Just showcasing his speed, his power. But, and I hate to keep bringing this up, but those defensive weaknesses,
They were still there.
they were still there, lurking in the background like a bad penny. You know what I mean?
Right.
They wouldn't go away.
And then you've got that fight against Marcos Maidana in 2010.
Oh man,
That was a war.
absolute war.
I mean,
Maidana, this relentless pressure fighter,
yeah.
known for his knockout power.
Yeah.
And he pushed Khan to the absolute limit.
I mean, that knockdown in the first round.
Oh, I thought it was over.
I bet.
I really did.
But Khan gets up and he keeps coming forward. He even manages to drop Maidana in the 11th.
Which, you talk about heart,
Yeah.
The guy had an iron will. He could take a punch.
Yeah.
And that's what made it so exciting to watch him, right? Because, you knew he could dish it out, but could he take it?
Yeah.
And he proved that he could.
And he wins that fight, right?
Close decision. Close decision. Fight was named Fight of the Year.
Wow.
It really showed that he could, not only hang with the top guys, but also, that he could go toe to toe with a puncher like Maidana.
And he goes on to unify the WBA and IBF titles against Zab Judah later that year, scores a decisive knockout in that fight.
Beautiful combination.
Yeah, so things are looking good for Khan. But then the Lamont-Peterson fight in 2011 kind of throws everything into chaos.
Oh, the Peterson fight.
Yeah.
That's a prime example of just how murky the waters can get in boxing,
Right.
Because, you've got Khan losing a controversial split decision in Peterson's hometown of Washington, D.C.
Right, and the sources mention, these questionable point deductions for pushing. There's even this mystery man at ringside who seemed to be influencing the judges. It sounds like something out of a movie, to be honest.
It was a mess.
Yeah.
It was an absolute mess, and it really highlighted how factors outside the ring can sometimes, rear their ugly head and impact a fighter's career. It was a shame because Khan, he immediately called for a rematch.
No.
And initially it was granted,
Right.
but then things got even more complicated.
What happened?
Well, Peterson fails a drug test.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the rematch is canceled.
Yeah.
And after, a lot of back and forth, the WBA eventually returned the title to Khan,
Okay.
but the IBF didn't recognize it.
Oh, wow.
So you've got this whole situation, right?
Yeah.
It's very unresolved,
Yeah, it's a real setback for Khan.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's kind of like it's out of his control in a way.
Completely. What can you do?
Right. How does he bounce back from this?
Well, he secures a fight against Danny Garcia in 2012,
Okay.
which, is a chance to unify the titles again, cement his place as one of the top light welterweights in the world.
Yeah.
This is a highly anticipated matchup.
Right.
But unfortunately, it wasn't Khan's night.
No.
No.
What happened?
He suffered another knockout loss, this time in the 4th round.
Was it just a case of, Garcia being the better fighter that night?
Garcia was a tough opponent.
Yeah.
Known for his power, his precision. But you could argue that Peterson fight and all the controversy surrounding it took a toll on Khan.
Yeah, I bet.
Mentally, emotionally.
Right.
It's hard to say for sure, but it definitely, I think, played a role in how his career kind of unfolded from that point on.
So, tough break against Garcia. It sounds like those back-to-back losses, Peterson, then Garcia, really were a turning point for Khan.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He even tries moving up to middleweight
Right.
to face Canelo Alvarez in 2016.
Oh, wow.
Which, let's be honest, that's a massive challenge.
Huge.
Yeah.
Alvarez is he's a force of nature, right?
Yeah.
And moving up 2 weight classes, I mean,
That's unheard of, practically.
it's incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
Very few fighters could even dream of doing that successfully.
And Khan, how did he do? I mean, he showed incredible heart in that fight.
He did. He had some moments of success, even.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I mean, Alvarez's power just proved,
Too much.
too much.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
It was a brave move, though. I mean, I think it speaks to Khan's ambition, his desire to test himself against the very best. But after that fight, we start to see a shift, I think, in Khan's focus, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Khan always had, I think a sharp business mind. And you could tell that he understood, the importance of building a legacy beyond, just his fighting career.
Okay.
So he establishes his own promotion company,
Right.
Prees Khan Promotions,
Yeah.
with the goal of, nurturing young talent,
Yeah.
giving back to the sport.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the Amir Khan Academy in Pakistan.
Right. Which is a fantastic initiative, by the way.
Oh, it's incredible. Providing, world-class training facilities and support for young boxers in Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
And, he could have just lent his name to something like this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's actively involved. He's using his platform to really inspire the next generation. It's really quite remarkable.
Yeah. It really is. And we can't forget about his ventures into reality television, appearing on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Right.
I mean, that was huge.
It was, and it showed a different side of him, I think.
Okay.
A willingness to embrace, new challenges, to connect with a wider audience.
Right.
He wasn't afraid to show his personality, even if it meant, eating some interesting things in the jungle.
Yeah, that's right. He was a good sport about it, I think. So, when we look back at Amir Khan's career, it's this fascinating blend, I think, of triumph and adversity, brilliance, but also vulnerability. What's your final take on his legacy? How will he be remembered in the world of boxing, do you think?
Khan's career, it might not have followed that, that traditional path
Yeah.
to legendary status, I guess.
Yeah.
But his impact is undeniable, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a British boxing icon, Olympic silver medalist, former unified world champion.
Yeah.
He inspired countless young athletes, particularly, for the British Asian community,
Mm.
Proving that anything is possible with hard work and dedication.
Right.
He never backed down from a challenge, even when he was facing, seemingly insurmountable odds.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes his story so compelling,
Absolutely.
He was never afraid to take risks, to push himself beyond his limits.
And he experienced those exhilarating highs, but also those, really crushing lows.
Yeah, he rode the roller coaster.
But through it all, he remained, this really captivating figure in the world of sports.
He did. And, and now with his focus shifting to, to developing the next generation of boxing stars,
Mm-hmm.
it's exciting to think about, the legacy he'll continue to build outside of the ring.
Absolutely.
Will we see a champion emerge from Khan Promotions,
Yeah.
from the Amir Khan Academy? These are questions that, I'm sure a lot of boxing fans are going to be asking in the years to come.
It's definitely something to keep an eye on. Well, there you have it, a deep dive into the remarkable career of Amir Khan. From Olympic prodigy to world champion, entrepreneur, philanthropist, Khan's journey really is a testament to the power of resilience, ambition, and that unwavering pursuit of one's dreams.